Hi and welcome to my short yoga practice. This is a functional yoga practice designed for strengthening hips, glutes, legs. Most people could try this practice. It's not super hard. I will give options, so if you're new to yoga you can still give it a go. And that's it. Let's go. Okay, so we're going to start off as we always do in any yoga practice with a little bit of calming the brain down. So we're going to start in child's pose, knees apart, and if your bum goes nowhere near your heels, do not worry, just pop a cushion there, or if you have a yoga block, that, so that you can relax. Just big breath in, slow breath out. Big breath in, slow breath out, shifting the hips from side to side if you want to. Just letting go of anything you were thinking about before you came to try this yoga practice. And just try and focus on the breath or on any sounds that you can hear, or what's going on with your body. And slowly we're going to move out of child's pose onto all fours. A little shift of the hips from side to side, and we're just going to pay attention to the hands for a moment. So hands are really important in your yoga practice because you're doing a lot of work supporting the body with them. But also we use them a lot for things like tapping away at keyboards, so it's a good idea to incorporate some stretching into your practice. I'm starting with fingers towards me. Now this can be a pretty horrible stretch for the inner wrist, and it might be a bit much for you, so if it is, you just take the fingers a little bit out to the side and maybe shift from one hand to the other. But if you can get your fingers comfortably and without strain towards you can do. Just taking the bottom back if you want to increase the stretch. And I guarantee if you use your breath, all stretching will become a little bit easier. And release the stretch, backs of the hands. Again, a pretty grim stretch, but a good one. You might not be able to get the arms straight, so you might want to just have them bent and just feel around for those icky, tight spots in the back of the hand, and breathe. Use your breath to deal with the stretch, holding it for as long or as little as you want to, and then releasing. Give the hands a little bit of a shake and just circling the wrists in one direction, just really focusing on what you're doing. Breathing in and slowly out, and then circle the other way. Give them a little bit of a stretch, back to all fours. I'm just pressing the shoulder blades up and then letting the shoulder blades sink down between your rib cage, between your shoulder blades, just feeling them I can't get my words out, just feel the shoulder blades come together, and then press the floor away. So sinking the chest down, bending the elbows, maybe drawing the shoulder blades together, and then pressing the hands away, pushing the shoulder blades all the way up. There's lots of insects on my mat, excuse me. Okay, stretching the right leg back. Think about where you're feeling the stretch, so all the way from your hip, stretching all the way to the toes. Forehead faces the floor. Breathe in, round the back, bring the knee towards you. Breathe out, stretch the leg back, look up, chest lifts up, shoulder blades squeeze back. Breathe in, tummy comes in, round the back, knee to the nose. Breathe out, leg goes away, look up, squeeze the shoulder blades back. One more, round the back, press the floor away with your hand. Breathing in, breathe out, stretching the leg back, melting the chest forward, and release. Other side, stretching the left leg long, all the way from the hip to the toes. Breathe in, round the back as you press the floor away with your hands, knee to nose. Breathe out, look up, lift the chest. Round the back, pressing the floor away. Extending the foot, look up. So you're also using your tummy muscles here as you balance. Breathe in, breathe out, and release. Give the hips a little bit of a shake from one side to the other. And a little bit of core work, but also a little bit of glute work. So if you've got quite an archy back, you might want to tuck under slightly, and you should feel the bum muscle fire up gently. You can keep your toes on the floor and just stay in this position, focusing on the lower abdominals. So squeezing the back passage in between the legs, a little bit of a firing up of the pelvic floor. You might even feel the navel coming in a little bit, and breathe. If that's easy, lift the foot about an inch off the floor, extend the opposite arm, and breathe. 2, really lengthening the arm and the leg. 3, and release. Other side, extend the left leg, fire up the pelvic floor, back passage between the legs, that's men and women. Navel gently comes in. If you want to pick up the foot, you can, extending the opposite hand. Lengthen, 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 and release. And then we're going to tuck the toes under, sitting back on the heels, and just get a little stretch through the toes. And you might want to come all the way up and then forward, melting the chest and the tummy forward. Breathing in, breathing out. Melting the chest and the belly, arching the back, coming up onto the toes, stretching the fingers forward to get a back stretch. And then while we're here, we're going to stay on the toes, and we're going to come up on the tippy toes. See if you can balance here. You might be able to balance like so, or you might be able to also extend your fingers wide, stretching to both sides over the space where you're at. And breathe. You might even be able to come up a little bit higher, firing the leg muscles up, tightening through the bottom slightly. Breathing, and come back down. Back onto hands and knees. Hands under shoulders, hip width apart, knees hip width apart, tucking the toes, and we're going to push up into a downward facing dog. So see if you can turn the inner elbow facing forward a little bit, and see if you can notice a kind of change in what happens around your shoulder blades, sort of firing up of this outer portion of the shoulder blade. And you press into the floor, you should feel that firing up a little bit more. Tuck the toes, press the hips up high, come into your downward dog, keeping the knees bent so you can press the hips a little bit higher. Breathing in, breathing out. You can possibly take one heel down and then the other heel down, stretching out through the calf, letting the hips go from side to side. And then take the right foot, take it behind the left, so you get a stretch through the right side of your back. Breath in, breath out, replacing the foot, take the left behind the right, stretch the arms long, bend the right knee a little bit more, stretching down the left side, and replace the foot. And then we're going to try a spinal wave. So you don't have to do this. You can come back onto all fours if you want to, or into child's pose and have a little stretch. Or you can tuck the lower back in, under rather, draw the navel in, and kind of roll through the spine into plank. See if you can hold that plank, even if it's for a split second, squeezing the inner thighs. Imagine you're squeezing the inner thighs to pelvic floor connect. Squeeze the bum muscles, press the shoulder blades up, breathe, 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 building some strength here, and then tucking the chin, rolling back into downward facing dog. And then we're just going to walk the feet forward, keeping them hip width apart, and bending the knees, having the hands onto the shins, or if you've got a yoga block, you can put them on a yoga block. Sticking the bottom out behind you. So if you can lift the bottom upwards to get a little bit more of a length into the back of the legs, shifting your weight slightly forward so that you're not dumping all the way into your heels and that there's even pressure through the feet. Breathe. And then just let yourself flop forward. Doesn't matter if your hands can't touch the floor, and just keeping the knees bent if you're tight in the back of your legs. Breathing in and out. Drawing the belly button in, you're going to roll up the spine, pressing the floor away with your feet, rolling upwards, drawing the navel in. And breath in, breath out. Have a little adjust if you need to. Adjust my head mic. And just have a breath in, breath out, softening everything. Maybe shifting forward and back, spreading out the toes. And then maybe look down at the toes, see if you can press the big toe down and lift all the other toes up. And then press all the other toes down and lift the big toe up. And then do a little bit of piano playing where you go little toe, next toe, next toe, next toe, big toe. Even if you can't do it, just tell your brain that's what you're going to do. Just a little bit of work into the feet, which are really important for your yoga practice and for everyday life. And then just lifting up the heels. So try and press that big toe down to get the big toe to function well. Often, particularly if you have things like bunions or quite compressed, squished feet, I don't know what the technical term is for that, but feet that are all squished together, toes that are all squished together, then your big toe isn't quite doing the job it's supposed to do for your balance and stability. So try and get that big toe to press down into the floor. And one more. Slowly come down. Give the legs a little bit of a shake. Just have a little gentle rotate to one side and the other. Nice and relaxed. Breathing in and breathing out. Just letting a little bit of rotation come into the spine. And then back to where we were. We're going to sit back into a chair pose. So knees go back over heels, bottom goes right back, and sit down in that invisible chair. Bring your hands together into prayer position. And see how low you can go down, keeping your bottom back. It doesn't matter if you can't go low down, but think about all four corners of the feet pressing evenly into the floor. Try not to let the toes lift off. And then pressing into the feet. See if you can activate the bottom muscles and come up as slowly as possible into standing. And again, sit the bottom back. Heels are over, or knees are over heels. See if you can stay there. Imagine the outer portion of your foot is getting wider so that you feel a firing up around the outer buttocks. Breathing here. And then pushing into the feet evenly. Squeezing the bottom muscles, coming up to standing. I'm going to do 4 more. Take the knees back over the heels, bottom goes back. Breathe, focus. Push into all portions of the foot. Press, 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 squeezing the bum as you come up. Lovely. 3 more. Bottom goes back. See if you can hold this position. Feel those buttocks firing up as you imagine you're pressing the feet wider. Push into all portions of the foot as you drive back up using the bum and the legs. Good. 2 more of those. Sit back. Breathe. Breathe. Focus. Press into the feet strongly. Drive up through the bum muscles. And 1 more. Bottom back, you're doing good. Balancing here, staying here, knees over heels. Breathing. Firing up those buttocks. Press into the feet evenly, evenly. Squeezing the bottom on the way up. Breath in. Breath out. Relax the shoulders. have a little wiggle from side to side to relax the muscles. And picking up the right leg, we're standing on the left leg. Make sure that big toe is helping you to balance, pressing into the mat, squeezing the thigh and the bottom for stability, and activating the lower tummy muscles gently to keep you stable in this position. Just taking that knee out to the side and back. Just opening the hip. And then we're going to turn the knee down towards the floor, flex the foot and push back with that foot. Hands come onto the hips. Drive it all the way back into this modified warrior 3 pose. Breathing here, slightly soft standing leg, and then bringing it forward, keeping the foot flexed. See if you can bend the standing knee, driving up with the bottom. Ooh, my hairs in my eye, I'm going to fall over. That's it. And bending the knee, driving up with the glute and releasing. So strong work with the bottom of the legs. Switching legs, spread out the toes if you can to give you a little bit more stability. And pick up the left leg, squeezing this thigh, squeezing the buttock, just a little bit of connection in the lower tummy. Staying relaxed in the upper body. Take a breath in and a breath out and see if you can release your rib cage down a little bit. And then just taking this knee out to the side and then taking the knee down to the floor, flexing the left foot, come round to the back of the room or the mat. Extend the leg if you can. Breathe and focus on something. The more you breathe and focus, the easier it will become. Promise. And then bring that leg forward. Keep the foot flexed and see if you can bend the standing leg. We all need stronger bum muscles, not just for aesthetic reasons. They help to support our lower back and squeeze the glute on the way up. Release the leg. Back into chair pose, feet hip width apart. Take the bottom back, knees over heels, and then coming up onto your tippy toes. Breathing, 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 and releasing. Staying in the same position, keeping the left knee in line with the middle of the foot. See if you can take the right foot out to the side. And 6. Release. Same on the left. See if you can keep that knee in line with the middle of the foot. Fire up through the bottom muscles. You can do as many of these as you want. We're just doing 6. 1 more. Release. Come up. Circle the hips. Circle the hips the other way. And stretch up. Breathe in, look up. Breathe out, hands to press, soften the knees, fold forward. Have a little bit of a wiggle and a jiggle from side to side. Come up into halfway lift. Breath in and breath out. Breath in, breath out. And then just doing a little bit of a tilt with the lower back, tucking under, releasing, tucking under, releasing, tucking under, releasing. And then rolling all the way back up, stepping back with the right leg into a lunge. So front knee is over the heel, back leg is long, the glute, the bum cheek is squeezing. And if you can, bring the arms up. If that makes you too wobbly, hold on to the hips or hold on to something. Otherwise you can take the arms up. Draw the shoulder blades back down as you bring them into a wide position. And then drop the knee, squeeze up with the bum. I'm going to sneeze in a minute. Excuse me if I do. Squeeze. 4. 2 more. 1 more. And then staying in this position with the tippy toes on the floor, I want you to stretch forward to get something that's just out of reach. Keeping this back glute and thigh firing up. Breathe, 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 and step forward. Little shake of the legs, step back with the left foot into a lunge position on this side. Front knee over the heel, back foot on the tippy toes, arms up, breathe in, breathe out, draw the shoulder blades back, drop, squeeze up with the bum. Two more. Don't have to go down as far as this, just can be a little bend if you want it to. There's your 6. And then stretching forward, firing up this glute, firing up the buttock and the thigh. Breathe and breathe. And then if you can, step forward. Breath in, breath out. And we're going to take the legs a little bit wider now, and we're going to come down into a yogi squat. Now if this is hard for you and you cannot get these heels down onto the floor, you can either put some cushions under your bum to sit on, or you can roll up the mat and put it under your heels, or some blocks under your heels just to let them relax a little bit. So if you can, get the heels down. If you can't, don't worry about it. And we're going to just start off with a knee. Bring your knee in, some internal rotation. You'd also hold onto a chair. Breathing in, breathing out. And then if you can, get your elbows to the inner thighs. Or you could be sitting on your cushions or a little poof if you've got one. And breathe. And breathe. Press the knees away. Try and squeeze the shoulder blades back. Lift the chest. And slowly release. Take your hands back and support yourself down onto the mat. And we're going to roll down, so feet hip width apart. We're going to draw the navel in, and we're going to slowly take the spine down to the mat, vertebrae by vertebrae. Keep drawing the navel in. Keep rolling down. Rolling down. Excuse me, I'm just going to move my mic. Rolling down till you reach the floor. And then just tipping the tailbone towards you and away from you for a little pelvic tilt. And then we're going to window screen wiper the knees in towards us. Stretching out the outer hip a little. And then bring the right foot over the left knee, flex the foot. If you can, reach behind the left thigh and draw that in towards you, or just keep it there. And switch legs, left foot onto right knee, flex the foot. You want to increase the stretch, bring the hands behind the thigh. And just breathing in and out, trying to soften the shoulders. Foot stays on the floor if you want it to. Just a few breaths here. Stay here as long as you want, really. And release. And then you can either bring your knees into your chest, stretch out the lower back, or if you're able to without straining, you can take the take the hand onto the outer foot, come into happy baby. Try to encourage the lower back towards the floor, and then just maybe take each knee and try and encourage it down and out, or out and down. See if you can increase that flexibility and that mobility of your hip. Get in touch with your inner baby. Have a little rock from side to side. Breathing in, breathing out. And then slowly release into our Shavasana. So the very best bit of your yoga practice. Lying down. You can have your knees bent if you wish. Legs long. Try and let everything relax. So you're slowing the breath down, you're closing your eyes, maybe pause the video And then you can spend a little bit longer in your Shavasana. Slow breath in, slow breath out, just releasing the shoulder blades down into the mat, softening the palms of the hands, the soles of the feet. Using your out breath to soften the shoulder blades down, softening the jaw, the inner portion of your eye, the outer muscles of your eye, the forehead. Continuing to use your slow out breath to soften any other muscles which feel tight. And exhale any thoughts. Just focusing on lying here and breathing. And when you're ready, just beginning to wriggle your fingers and your toes. Slowly bend your knees and notice the feeling of the soles of the feet on your mat. Rolling to your side with your eyes closed. And then slowly pressing up into a seated position of any type you like. Kneeling, legs out, cross-legged. Sit up nice and tall. Take a big breath in, sigh your breath out. Bring your palms together and notice the sensation of the palms and the fingers touching. And just be grateful for these moments that you've taken out of your day to do something so nourishing for your body and your brain. Namaste. Thanks for practicing with me.